With the Mojo, Mahindra has made a huge impact in the Indian two-wheeler segment. They have brought out a machine that can, at least on paper, do it all. We are joined by Sharat Shenoy today, who has been a part of the Mahindra Mojo program even before the motorcycle was officially launched. He has since clocked more than 60,000 kilometers and has taken the machine all over India. He recently even participated in the Raid the Himalayas on the Mojo. Hi Sharat, it's nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm super, man. Beautiful morning and all that. Right time to ride out and have a good conversation around chai. Beautiful.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. How has the Mojo experience been so far and what made you choose this machine?
So 2 years back when Mojo was being tested, so I got a call through a friend and said we are planning to test ride the bike around India. Do you want to take part? I said yes. Jumped in. 40 days of all expense paid trip and all that. So this was time when I was trying to build a bike that would take me anywhere and everywhere. So after about 13 years of riding, I wanted a bike that would do everything. I didn't want one bike for each thing as such. Couldn't afford multiple bikes. So that's when the Mojo came into picture. Did the test ride. Third day or fourth day into the ride, figured out this is the bike I need. Called up my friend, said, boss, pack up and sell whatever you have. Let's end it. This is the bike I need. So halfway through the ride, I figured the way the bike was built, the engine is very reliable, very comfortable, no stress, nothing. And good set of tires, Pirelli and all that. The braking was nice, the comfort seating, which would make sure that you do a long distance. You don't have to take a lot of breaks. A bigger tank, a 21-liter tank for that matter. So 550 kilometers is what you can do very easily. So that reduces the stress on you and you comfortably ride around. The confidence built up. I waited for the bike to come out. The moment the bike was out, took on, went on to Northeast, did a complete stretch of Northeast. That has been on the list for a very long time. Tawang, Mechuka, Kibito. Then happened to ride Bhutan, then happened to go to Nepal and a bit of Myanmar and came back. So overall about 65,000 kilometers on this bike. And that also saw me going for Raid the Himalaya, the toughest rally in India and second toughest in the world. The bike ran well and I wouldn't have gone for the rally if it wasn't for the bike. The confidence that it gave to me was like kick-ass. I've never done any rallies in my life. And so it went on well and very happy with the bike and can't wait to do a lot of rides. Tomorrow I think I'm heading to Pune. And the next 2 weeks would see me riding towards the desert and all this stuff and come back. But then it's been a fun experience altogether.
That's awesome, really. And well, with Mahindra being a new player in the two-wheeler market, how has your experience been with the Mojo, especially in terms of handling and braking?
So after doing the test ride on the bike, I figured out what are the things I want to do with the bike, because there are a few things I would want to fine tune the way I want it. So I went on to minor modifications of the bike, and the very first ride that I did was I went off to the Northeast, the Tawang, Mechuka and Kibito, one of the toughest terrains, and with no major support available there, I had to go prepared. So I changed the set of tires and put some knobby tires as such, not major but on-road, off-road tires, so that I could ride around alone. And the bike handled very well. The highways I could cruise at 120, 130 effortlessly. I remember doing Hyderabad to Bangalore in about 4.5-5 hours. I had some emergency to come down and I was, fresh as, the bike ran very well, no comfortable, no issues as at all. Then off-road terrains as such, when I was riding around in Tawang, I figured out that, there are no problems with the bike to figure out to start with. Raid the Himalaya came into picture. I was doing all possible things, jumping, gutters, speed breakers, potholes, pushing it as much as I can, riding in minus degrees and all this stuff. I think Mechuka, when I was riding, it was -7 or -8 degrees. And the bike performed effortlessly, no stress, no heating up issues, no shutting down problems. And the brakes were good too, because I always do engine braking, which gives me better control on the bike. And that's been working very well. The front shocks that you have here, that's one of the best you have, the USD shocks. And so been very comfortable and happy about the bike as such.
So let's talk about maintenance now. You have ridden all over India, right? And how was your experience?
Right, so this is a slightly bigger bike compared to other bikes that we ride, slightly heavier also. because the way it's built to take on all possible terrains and such. So yeah, so the basic maintenance would be taking care of the tire pressure and making sure the chain is lubed and making sure you don't run on empty tanks and such. So there are very few things as such that you have to take care of, because these things might come and bite you later. So if you don't have a proper tire pressure, that's going to come and impact on your mileage. If you don't have a proper chain adjustment, and if it's not lubed well, that's going to again eat into your mileage as well as the performance of it. So each component has its own life. So what I do is, every time I'm on a ride, I stop over for a break. I make sure I check a complete, do a check on the bike and take care of it well, lube it, air pressure and all the stuff on the move. And even before or after the ride, what I do is I check on the components on the bike, whatever is going to wear out. If it's something is going to wear out quickly, I'll change it. I don't wait for it to happen on the ride. And the maintenance is pretty easy. I think it's about around 1.5 to 2K for service charges as such. There are a few components that's slightly expensive, but if you take care of it well, that lasts well. Major component would be the silencer and the headlight assembly. So you don't drop the bike. Try to understand the bike, handle it very well, and there is no problem with it. But if you drop it, yeah, as any other bike for that matter, it works out expensive as such. Yeah, so it handles very well. Not an issue as such, but then I've had instances where the bike has taken a couple of falls, but luckily it was on off-road terrain, and I came back with minor scratches as such. But then yeah, so the way you see the bike right now, it's out of Raid the Himalaya, and I have not done major modifications on it. There are a few things that I have done for the silencer as such, so that I can increase the ground clearance. But then whatever scratches and things that you see is because of the fall that I have at the Raid. So that itself would say that the bike has not taken a lot of beating. So the build quality is pretty good. It's a metal tank that they have come up with that I love, because fibers might dent and break, but the metal takes a lot of beating. And there are a lot of the components that's built very strong that takes care of the beating very well. And yeah, been very happy with the bike components and such.
Alright, so finally, do you suggest any changes or modifications to make this bike a better package and to make the ownership experience better?
Right, so a manufacturer makes a bike, and then they would have taken a lot of feedback from the general public and all that stuff, right? So when the bike comes to the end user, it's left to them and how they want to customize it. Most of them run it stock because that's the way they want it, but I cannot run a bike stock because I cannot ride the way whatever they have made it for. So I use it for a lot of different purposes, and I want to customize it, fine tune it so that I am comfortable a bit more. So the bike as such, the package is very good. The good set of tires, the engine, the headlight assembly, the mirrors, the light, the handlebar seating, post it's all comfortable. But then for the kind of terrain that I ride in, I mix it off-road, on-road, all of the terrain and such, right? So I did few things to it. I actually changed a different set of tires. Right now I'm running on stock tires, but I had slightly on-road, off-road tires. That way the bike runs on different terrains comfortably. And then I added a bash plate to it so that if I go to off-road terrain, if the stones felt onto it, the engine, the crankcase is not broken. Change the silencer into a single exhaust so that the ground clearance comes into picture. And I changed the headlight assembly to a single headlight assembly, a round headlight. And then added a small, dashboard there so that I could mount my GPS, phone, and also a charger for that matter. And some extra lights, so that I can ride in any terrain as such. So these things will change for Raid the Himalaya, because we're supposed to ride for 3 days or 6 days depending on whatever we sign up for. And as I said, it's the toughest rally in India, and the second toughest in the world. So what happens, you can't really figure out. When you start riding is when you figure out there is snow, there is fog, bad terrains, road gets landslides or whatever. So you have to be prepared for it. So to keep that in mind, I did some modifications, and I've been very happy. So this was all kept in mind because when I rode the bike, the engine was running very comfortably. That's what you need for any rally, because most of the time is going to go fixing the bike. And then I figured out the bike can handle any kind of torture. I said, let me build on that. And 2 days before the rally, got it all sorted up, took the parts, rode up to Chandigarh, got it sorted, and then went on to the rally. And all 3 days of ride, the only thing that we did on the bike was lubing the chain. While other manufacturers, other bikes were doing a complete engine strip and putting it back together, rebuilding the front suspension, back suspension, putting a different set of tires. All I did was lube the chain, get some good sleep, get up in the morning and ride. So yeah, so that way very comfortable, and the bike has been holding good as such.
Well, Sharath, it has been really great to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks a lot. I had a wonderful experience with the bike, and I'm glad I could share it with you. That way this spreads on to a lot, and more people join me riding around, and have fun around it. Cheers.
So guys, that's what 60,000 kilometers on the Mojo is like. We hope you like this video. Please share your comments below. See you in the next video.